Okay, welcome everybody to the BrandBar Happy Hour chat. We're excited to have with us today Mr. Ali Zandi. Ali entered the domain name industry in early 2014 and has since been successful in selling over 300 domains, has been invited onto the DomainSherpa review twice, and has landed a job as the senior broker for Flippa.com. Ali has had over $430,000 in domain sales. Hey there, Ali.
Hey, how's it going? It's a pleasure to be here.
How do you answer to that after I put it out there that you've sold over $430,000 worth of domains in such a short period of time?
That's all. Yeah, there's I don't know. I mean, we've done, or I've done around 430 in about 7 months, but I did like 330 of it in the past month or so. So it's, the start of 2015, I mean, really took off, when I joined the Flippa team, and a ton of new opportunities for brokerage came up, and, I used my strategies and tactics to get a ton of domains sold in the past like 45 days.
Yeah. You know what? We should tell everybody 10K of that happened like 2 minutes ago when I was,
I
was talking to you.
I sold a couple names actually. I sold one of them to DomainSherpa Watcher yesterday. We talked about his names, that he had a budget and I had a perfect name for him. So
that's
that
great.
Sold, and I have one ending in about 5 hours. So we'll see how the day progresses. That one's actually mine, but we'll see.
Okay, that's good. So why don't we start with you just telling us how you came to enter the domain name industry?
Okay. It was, a year ago, I think it was. I was doing web design, and I absolutely hated it. And, I was up late at night just browsing the internet, like, what else can I do? I'm sick of web design. I just can't do it. And I landed on dnforum.com. And I was like, domains, they sell? Like, that's a commodity? So I started reading the posts and stuff, and I thought it was pretty cool. And so I did what every other domainer does. When they first start, I stopped reading and went to GoDaddy and just started hand registering on the names. I think I spent like $2,000 that night hand registering a bunch of garbage because of valuation tools I used online, and I was so excited. And turns out I was way off. I ended up selling those names still, but I stopped after that, and I was like, this probably sounds too good to be true. And I took some time off of that, and then I think it was in July. I was fed up. I was like, okay, I'm going to give domaining 100% of my time, period. And I bought around $500 worth of hand registered app domains, and I used GoDaddy coupons for every single one. Multiple GoDaddy accounts, multiple coupons, different browsers, phone, tablet, they were all out registering domains. I think it's like 60 to 90 names or something. And, I put it up for auction, and it did really, really well. It sold for $7,500 within 30 days. I profited after premium upgrades, and I think the success fee is about $5,900. It was $5,901. And from there, I realized, this is a huge industry. And so I started reading every single post on every single forum, watching every single Sherpa video, interview. Anything that came out, I studied the market, everything. There was nothing that came out that I didn't at least see once or reread. And from there, I realized what I had to do. And I just started, browsing the market, looking for drops or auctions or expired names that I could pick up for really cheap and do 300 to 500% ROI on at least. And it was a successful thing. I think my first real month I made $9,000 in profit, and then the next month I did like 20K gross, like $7 or $8,000 profit, and it just kept continuing and continuing. And eventually I started brokering domains, and here we are now.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned you were watching the DomainSherpa. Well, you actually ended up on the DomainSherpa to do a portfolio review, right? I think you had about 25 names that were reviewed by the Sherpas.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, I donated some money, and I got on the show, and they reviewed my names, and yeah, I mean, I didn't get the reviews I wanted.
Yeah, yeah. It seemed like they were kind of like a mixed bag of responses.
Yeah, that was a mixed bag for sure.
Yeah. But you did end up selling. Did you sell all of them?
Yeah, every single one.
Yeah.
I think it was within of the show too. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that every domain I had was a home run. You know, ones I got for $25, I sold for 600. Ones I got for 100, I sold for $2,000. But every single one sold. You know, the Sherpa show, they were looking at like more premium names than like
right.
or Flip.net or something. But you know, they ended up making me a lot of money that month. So.
Well, that's good. So you basically have the attitude of, you know, it didn't matter if it was going to be a large sale or a small one, just you wanted to go ahead, sell it, make a profit, and move on to another list of names.
Absolutely, yeah. My entire goal was to sell every name I could within 30 days for a profit. If it was $100 profit, sure. If it was $10,000 profit, why not? I mean, there's a big difference between quality and quantity. I mean, it's the quality of your quantity. So I was trying to push semi-quality domains for a smaller profit at volume within 30 days so I could maximize my profits, and it worked out.
Okay. Now, have you sold any domains outside of the Flippa platform?
Yeah, I went through my spreadsheet for last year, and I think I sold 2 domains off the platform. That was a whopping total of 2 domains.
Yeah.
It was like $500.
So tell me, what are you looking for when you're buying domains? Like, or are you even buying domains anymore? Do you just broker other people's names, or?
Yeah, I always buy domains, and I like to keep them and collect them. You know, you never know. Like the other day, I bought, I think it was Keyboard. I picked that one up for a pretty good price, and I'll probably sell it for 10 times what I paid for it because it's worth that. When I'm browsing the market, I mean, there's so much I look for. The ultimate decider in whether I pick something up or not is my gut feeling about it. And if I feel like I need to have it, I pick it up. And but the main factors are age, search volume, development ability. You know, the radio test, if I told it to you over the phone the first time, you know, would you understand it? Would you be able to spell it? How many different ways are there to spell it? Can somebody take this name and create a business out of it instantly? I mean, there's so many different factors that go into play there.
Can you tell us the name that you picked up the other day, or?
Yeah, it was keyboards.net.
Keyboards.net. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. And
yeah.
You know, obviously I have one myself back there, and
I see it back there.
I know how much they cost. I know the value. I mean, there's a ton. You know, I was in the audio industry for a while, so I know exactly the synthesizers, maybe keyboards. I mean, there's thousands of products, and you could get an e-commerce site up and ready within weeks for the right developer. So I absolutely jumped all over that.
Okay, so I'm wondering if you can take us through like a short process of how you actually sell your domains.
Yeah. Okay, so basically once I have the domain, let's say it's my domain. Brokerage is pretty similar, but let's say it's my domain. I take what I paid for it, and then I set a reasonable reserve in my head. Nothing too crazy. I don't need to strike the lottery. I don't need to win big. I just want to make a solid profit and move on. So let's say I have a domain I paid $1,000 for. I want to get rid of it for $5,000 minimum. I'll sell it all day long for $5,000. Then I sit down and I do all the research. So I have a template that I use. First I start with search volume. And I get all the search volume together. I do the 100 most relevant terms, which Google Keyword Planner pops up for me. And I copy those, I paste those, I put them into my listing description. And I sit there and I look at each one of them and I see you know, the different possibilities for the relevant searches that for, and for a lot of those point to a huge development opportunity, then I know I'm onto something big. So like, let's say for keyboards.net, I look at all the search volume, and everything has to do with, pretty much all of it has to do with musical keyboards. So I see that, I have to tailor this towards someone in the music industry who's selling keyboards, not computer keyboards, not like the hologram keyboards that are out, but actual musical keyboards. And then I look at comparable sales. And that's when I really get an idea of what I'm sitting on. Like, same with keyboards.net, guitars.net sold for like $26,000. Piano.net sold for, I think, $29,000. Then I know what kind of value I have from just search volume and comparable sales. So I'm sitting on a $10,000 to $20,000 domain name with keyboards.net, reseller all the way up to end user, that range. And then I write. I sit down and I write. And what I write is what I would want to hear when I go to buy something. And I want to know all the development potential. Tell me why keyboards.net is such a hot domain that I should pull out my checkbook and give you $10,000 to $20,000 for it. I want to sell myself to you while I'm doing this. So I write it all out. I write it all out, and I get everything that I can think about, all the facts, numbers, industry, industry news, industry facts, statistics. How many keyboards sold this year. What's the most used instrument in the world, so on and so forth. I provide every single detail that I can, and from there I basically put my listing up, I pick my upgrade, I put it up, and then the work begins there. I reach out to pretty much every contact that I have or have had in the past that has either bought something from me or wants to stay updated on the different domains that I get, and I also reach out to end users and I let them know, hey, the auction is starting for keyboards.net, and I'd like to invite you to the auction. I keep it short and sweet. I use a tool called, I'll type it out for you guys, zoominfo.com, and it's a phenomenal tool because I can look up, I can look up a company, I can look up, keywords, I can look up, by revenue, and it gives me all the information of pretty much every member of that company, from janitor all the way up to CEO. And it gives me their email addresses, their phone numbers, mailing address, company information. And I take that and I find my prospects. Usually I start at the top, CEO, obviously, executive vice president or something. It doesn't matter. I figure out who the decision maker is, and I send them my email. If they don't respond the first time, I reach back exactly 1 week later, on the dot, and I use followup.cc for that. It's a great program, and and my follow-ups almost always get a response. First time they don't really take you seriously. You follow up, you maybe get a no, a how much, or a thank you, but we're not interested. And from there, I just keep talking. I'm actively talking to everyone, bringing it up, mentioning it on shows, pushing the auction, commenting, talking to my bidders, talking to fellow members, and eventually word spreads. Someone's going to tell their buddy's going to tell their buddy, and that guy's going to be interested, and he's going to reach out. And I've closed a lot of my deals like that. People reach out and we start talking price, just like I did today. Reached out asking for ideas on value for his domains, and that he had a budget, he'd like to buy some nice names, and I told him, your domains don't really have value, I'm sorry, but if you want a valuable domain, I have one, I'll sell it to you for a reason now. And he was up for it, we closed the deal, and I keep getting escrow emails telling me to wrap it up. So that's pretty much my process. It really starts with the research, and then it ends with opening my mouth and reaching out.
Now, do you, when you reach out to end users, do you usually email or call them? Or I know you email because you said you do, but do you call them also?
I'm not a big phone guy. Unless they need to hop on a call with me, I'm always multitasking. And if somebody called me the first time, cold call, I hang up on cold calls all the time. Don't call me don't waste my time. You're either selling me a vacuum or a trip to Hawaii. That's the mentality, because that's what's happened over the years. All these cold calls about garbage come, and I just don't do it. And unless we've been emailing and they want to get on the phone, gladly I'll pick up the phone. We can talk, no problem. But usually I send out one email and then I follow up the next week. And if they ask how much, we talk in the email, and usually they'll be like, "Well, can we get on the phone call?" And I'll be like, "Absolutely." But I never cold call for domains.
Okay. So basically, if you've been exchanging email, you would feel more comfortable doing calls, but you don't typically just pick up and do a cold call when you haven't already reached out to this particular user.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like cold calling to sell a car.
Okay. Yeah, right.
It just doesn't work. Or a house. I mean, it's a big commodity, and cold calling just doesn't work for me. But it could for others.
So tell me about when you're selling the domains. Have you found it easier to sell them just individually, or do you have any success with selling, a lot of bulk names?
With bulk names, you're almost never going to get maximum value for each one. Bulk auctions are cool. It gives another investor the opportunity to grab all of your names and start a portfolio, and they'll more than likely end up selling them one by one themselves. I've done both. 99% of my auctions are single names, and I've had quite a few that I've done bulk auction when I first started. So I did like app design schools, like 60, 90 names I think it was total at the end. And then another one was like 70 names. But if I had held on to those app design or app-related domains and I held on to them and created a full portfolio out of them, I could have easily done 100K on all of them long term.
Okay.
I'm not a very good.
Are there any situations where a bulk auction would be more advantageous? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Say you have, I guess, a portfolio of related domains. Would you be able to get, I guess you just said it's harder to get all of your value out of it that way, but can it help? Are there any situations where it could actually be beneficial?
Yeah, when somebody gets, like, anywhere I go, if somebody's like, "Hey, I'll give you a bundle for this price," I'm like, well, it's got to be cheap because it's a bundle. It's just the mentality of it is sale, fire sale. But, if you're looking to offload an inventory of domains that you just need to get rid of and you want to make a small profit on, bulk auctions, they can provide that for you. You'll never get maximum value for it. The mentality is bulk equals cheap equals deal.
Right.
But you can sell them if you need to get rid of. Like, I have some domains that I just don't even want anymore, and I'll gladly just fire sale them in a bulk auction. But if you have a corner of the market, like if you have a ton of like hologram domains, you have 1,000 hologram domains, and you're looking for a company who just wants to corner that part of the market, you can offload them. But again, you'll never get maximum value for it. At least not in my experience.
Okay, so, and I know I keep going on this bulk thing, but if someone were to do a bulk auction, when do you get to the point where there are too many domains in there, or maybe too few?
I don't think. If you're doing a bulk auction, I think you have to worry more about too few.
Okay.
If you're going to call it a bulk auction. If you have like less than 10 names, usually what I do, and it's worked, is I'll list one domain, my best domain of the lot, and I'll let the auction run, see how much value I can get out of that one domain. And when it comes to the end, I'll throw in the other 9 as a bonus. Then if, like, let's say it's at $3,000 and I want to get $5,000, I'll throw in 9 more of similar value and sell them for $5,000. You get the whole lot, $5,000. But if you're doing a bulk auction, ramp it up, make it a bulk auction. If you want to pass $10,000, a bunch of hand registered or cheap names that you have, throw in a ton of domains.
Okay. Okay, so there was a post for some of our members to put some names on a list for you to give feedback on. And when I say feedback, these are names or domains that they have been trying to sell or in the process of figuring out how to sell, and they'd like to get your feedback. hey, maybe it's a good idea to do this or that, or maybe that's not such a good name at all. We're open to hearing all of that. But before I move us to that list, I want to make mention for everyone who's here in the chat, anyone who's listening, Ali did have another interview with the DomainSherpa that aired yesterday. It was a great interview, and on that interview he went and he gave us some good insights, and also he showed us how he builds his auctions on the Flippa platform. If you're interested in taking a look at that or seeing how that process works, I would recommend going over and taking a look at that interview at DomainSherpa.com. Also, the link to that interview is posted on the BrandBar wall. Now, so let's get over to the list, and I will let you take a look at it, and then I might go ahead and just open up the mics so that if you have a question or a comment for anyone who's here who has a name on the list, they can respond to that. Will that be okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's see. All right, so I have the list pulled up. I'll go through it in alphabetical order. There are some names that I really like, some I don't like at all.
Okay.
So let's see, we'll start with cabservice.ca. So Canada. I'm not really big on Canada domains. I've never really sold one or bought one, so getting value out of that's going to be a little tough for me. It has roughly 4,000 searches a month. Decent CPC. It's not a very highly searched name. $500, maybe 1,000 at best. Yeah, I think the other ones unmuted here. I personally don't like it. Cab.ca would have been the one, or cabs.ca, definitely the one for that. I'm just not a fan. Yeah, move on. Cat.condos. It's a quirky name. I mean, it's pretty funny, but you know, it has potential. I guess cat condos are a thing. You know, cat trees, cat furniture, cat condos. I mean, though, you can also get cat.estate. It's a brandable. It's super brandable, and personally, I couldn't do anything with it. If you sit on it long enough, maybe you'll get an offer, but maybe $2,000 at best to an end user who is just die-hard cat condo developer, and you know, they just have to have that name. But
so with this one, are you saying that you see it more for end user outreach as opposed to like maybe an auction?
Yeah, that's absolutely end user. I wouldn't even put that up for auction.
Okay.
You won't make it, but that's all end user. Chili Fest. I don't even know what that is. Chili Fest. Let's Google that real quick. Is chili even spelled right?
I don't know.
I mean, there's chilifest.org. I guess it's a huge thing in good old Texas.
Hey,
well,
now,
you know,
I'm in Texas.
Hey, now.
In fact, I could use some chili. It's cold out there.
I mean, Chili Fest, a cool name. I mean, if you have basically one end user, it's chilifest.org, and they might not be so happy. I don't know if there's trademark issues with that or not, but you know, you probably sell it for around $500 to $1,000. It's a high risk trademark. You're looking at a lawsuit there. I'd probably just drop it and move on. There's no, let's see what EEG is. I think it's like, yeah, I actually had one of these. I don't know if they'll ever release that as an app to the public. People in control of an EEG machine might be a little dangerous. They might have a little too much fun with that or hurt themselves. If it does turn into an app, EEG app is a pretty decent domain. If you hold on to it, assuming, I mean, you have one end user for that, and that's an EEG company who's developing an app, and what are they really going to pay for EEGapp.com? I mean, a major company is going to go buy EEG.com or EEG.net or EEG.org. So I don't see that one selling. Farmers Magazine. Farmers trademark, Farmer Magazine, or even Farming or Farm Magazine would probably be the best one there. I mean, maybe you get like $200-300 for that, maybe. Freelance.club. I mean, .club domains are taking off. I don't like them, but they are taking off. So who am I to, put them down? They're selling. Freelance Club. That's pretty cool, brandable. Definitely something like freelancer.com or Fiverr.com or peopleperhour.com. It could definitely be developed. I would personally develop that instead of selling it. You probably won't get much for it right away, but if you develop it and create a business out of it, you can definitely maximize on that. That's probably what I would do. HomeLoanSupport.com. Delete it. There's no value. Not to me. I just don't see it. InternetSpeedTest.net. That's a pretty decent one. I mean, there's a massive search volume for Internet Speed Test. Your competition is SpeedTest.net, which is the better domain. But you can probably get $1,000 out of it if you do it right. I like it. If you can develop it, you can market it, you can monetizing it's going to be a little hard. Advertising and so on and so forth. I mean, you could sell modems and routers and cables on that site to upsell those if you want to increase your speed or blah blah. It's probably $1,000, $2,000. Probably wouldn't take it to auction. I'd probably develop it again and then sell it. Luxury jacket. Luxury jackets would have been better. The plural luxury jacket. I don't see any value in that. Planet Circuit, brandable. Circuit Planet or Circuits Planet would have been a better one. Planet Circuit. I mean, if you haven't had any offers on it yet, I'd probably just fire sale it. Pricematchers.com. I love that domain. That's a really cool domain. I think the singular is owned by a really big company. But pricematchers.com, you can develop the S out of that, and I'd probably hold on to that. I'd probably sell it for like 5 to 10 plus to an end user, 20 easily. I would hold on to that, and I wouldn't let it go. I mean, it wasn't going to cost you $10 a year, barely. Coupon it. I'd hold on to that for an end user. Printable homes. That's another good one. I was watching Zeitgeist, the documentary the other day, and they were going over the whole process of the future and everything, printable homes, printable this, printable that. I mean, literally it's going to take construction times down from years to weeks or months. That's one I would sit on. I'll hold on that forever. Because that one company who specializes in printable homes is going to come along and they're going to throw you like 20, 30 grand on it. Tangible goods. That's a pretty cool one. You can develop that. It's got decent search volume, decent Estibot. I mean, Estibot is just Estibot. It's not really a huge valuation tool, but tangible goods. It's brandable. Probably at 500 at auction, 2 grand maybe to an end user. Tree services. That's a pretty big domain. We just had a huge windstorm and knocked down all the trees and power lines and everything, so a tree services company probably came and cleared all that up. I would hold on to that, and I would develop a landing page, and I would just wait for an offer. I wouldn't put that up for auction. I wouldn't do anything, but just wait. At least for the next year or two, just sit on it and see what happens. You never know. You get the world's biggest tree services servicing company come along and be like, hey, we want this name, we're rebranding, it's $1 grand for it. I would wait. It's something that could happen. You probably won't get much for it at auction. Web retrieval. Okay, I mean, you can develop that into website backup software. I personally lost a couple sites and used hosting that didn't have any backup. So webretrieval.com would have came in handy if it was developed. I might develop that. I don't know, maybe I'll even buy it from you and develop it, but I would wait. Or I'd reach out to backup companies, even hosting, and talk to them. It's not a bad domain. You probably get 5 to 10 grand for it if you do it right. Winterfest. HappyHour.com. I live in Hawaii. We don't really have a winter, but I've also lived in Germany, and it's pretty much always winter. And also, Winterfest. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's Oregon Winterfest. I lived there too. There's a lot of Winterfests, domains with Winterfest that I would start contacting all of them. I mean, I'm going through Google right now, and winter-fest.com might be your best one. We're losing a lot of traffic to you. Get on the phone with them, sell it. Sell it. $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. Start high and let them slowly make it down. I would definitely get rid of that. No less than 2,500. WV Homes. What is WV? Is the West Virginia. That's not a bad domain. WV Homes. There's a lot of real estate in Virginia, West Virginia. You can sell that. I mean, there's WV.gov. There's a ton of WV domains like WVUsports.com, WVtourism.com. When you look through Google, you see a ton of WV plus keyword domains. I mean, that $5 to $10,000. Find a real estate company out there. WV Homes. That's ultra brandable. Yeah, I mean that's the without doing too much research on each one. That's pretty much a rundown. I mean, I'm still looking at cat.condos. Who knows? I mean, if you can develop the hell out of that. And, it's a million searches. Well, that's just for cat, but if you do just like cat condos.
You really like that one. You came back to it.
I mean, it's not that I really like it, but
it's intriguing.
It's intriguing because, it has decent, cat condos, decent search volume, and people love their cats. People are fanatics about their cats. And if you can get that ranked to the first page of Google, develop it. Why not? I mean, it'll cost you, what, $500 to $2,000 to develop it, and then, you push it. You do your proper SEO, you get the right framework, you blog, you do all the proper SEO steps, and you get a rank for the term cat condos, and you'll have yourself a successful business, and you can come back to Flippa next year and sell it for 20, 30x revenue.
Now, there's some others on the list here that you haven't, I don't think you've mentioned yet. Name your startups. Do you see the list up there, Ali?
I didn't see name your startups on the list.
On my screen.
Oh, there we go. How can I sell my domain?
Yeah, I think that was that was an earlier list that you just read that didn't have every name on it yet. So there's more here.
Home loans for freelance, a live domain.auction. I see that. That's too many words for a GTLD. I think those should be 2 words, including the extension. So domain.auction would have been a monster. Gamers Network or gamers.network. If that was gamer.network, that would be a pretty good domain. I could probably see that $5,000 to an end user magazine company or blog or forum or something like that. Sweaters.tv. I mean, unless you're creating a TV channel selling sweaters only, that just has no value. Nameyourstartup.com. Startup namer, startup names, something like that would have been the better choice here. I just don't see any value in that. I mean, a lot of these, if they were developed, they have more value, but they don't. Shydating.com. I guess that could be one of those one-page, I'll teach you how to date or teach you how to get the perfect man, perfect girl websites or whatnot, but pay $99 for this ebook. I just don't see resale value in it to another investor unless you find a developer. Yeah, he says gamers.network is developed. It's a good domain. I mean, I was a gamer for a long time. I actually love gaming. So.
Would you develop that before attempting to sell it?
Absolutely. Yeah, GTLDs, I would develop them as best as I could and monetize them before selling them. If you go to sell a business, it won't matter that it's a GTLD. as long as it's making money and it's ranked and everything is proper. I like it. I'm a huge gamer. I absolutely love it. But it needs to be fully developed and monetized for it to have any real value to an investor or end user. PCAssist.com. It's a little hard to say, but there's a lot of people that need assistance with their personal computers. And not everybody's as sharp and quick-witted and tech-savvy as we all like to think they are. But
hang on one moment, Ollie. Let me mute everyone again because there's some sound coming in here. Okay, so you can continue. There was a little background noise coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'll unmute people one at a time if I need to.
Yeah. Yeah, so what I was saying, PC Assist. It's a little tough to say, but I like it. If you can find a company that specializes in assisting people with their personal computers, you can find 10 grand, maybe more, depending on how big the company is. If they want, if they're PCAssistants.com or PCAssistants.com, you can probably get them to shorten their name. They probably would be less likely to pay you more since they already have a name like that, but they'll still pay. Supermodel.co.uk, pretty cool name. I don't really sell too many .co.uk's. I don't really know the market there that well, but that's a pretty cool name. If it was supermodels.co.uk, it might be better. It could be a modeling agency. I mean, this one could be a modeling agency too. A lot of models come from that, that part of the world. So I would start reaching out to end users, talent agencies, modeling agencies, and see if you can't get 10 grand for that. I mean, it's possible. Topcoin wallet, there's a bazillion Bitcoin domains out there. You'll have to sit on this until somebody decides they want to name their company Topcoin wallet. And if they name it Topcoin and they have that kind of financial backing, they're going to buy Topcoin.com. They're not even going to worry about the wallet part. Planet Circuit, I think I already talked about that.
Yeah.
I think that's all of them. I'm back on gamers.net. I'm looking at the site. It's a really well-made site.
Oh, is it? Is it already a website?
Yeah, it's already a website. This looks like Adrian's website.
Oh, that's good. Let me see if Adrian is still in here.
Yeah, I think he is.
Okay, there he is.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
It's a well-made site. The only thing that's missing is posts. Content. I mean, you fill out the content, you start ranking it, and
right.
It can do really well. Gamers.network. That's for brandable. I mean, you could even. I see you got a review section, you got a shop section. Start filling this site up and start getting it ranked.
Right.
In a year or two, you turn around and offload it to a major company, man. If you do it right.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Now, Adrian, while I have you unmuted, do you have any questions for Ollie?
Yeah, actually, I do. One sec. I'm in a coffee shop, so I'll be outside. Sorry about that. Yeah, everybody's looking at me all weird anyway. But, so when you first got involved and you saw the light bulb turn on, how did you not fall in love with your domain names and really set? Because I see, your sales on Flippa, they run the gamut in terms of dollar amount. I mean, it seems like you just mash out domain names. You take offers and you just let them fly. How do you allow yourself to let them fly? Because obviously you want $1 million for every domain name you let go. So what is it, that about yourself that you just allow yourself to just say, okay, I'll take $650 for this. I wanted $2 grand, but I'll take $650.
Gotcha. That's a great question, man. It's tough. Everybody wants $1 million for every domain. I've always been really disciplined, and it has a lot to do with how I grew up, and I had to detach from a lot of stuff.
Gotcha.
And, I can detach from just about anything.
Right.
When it comes to, what kind of offers I'm taking and accepting, I just want to be profitable. And if I do it enough times, it won't matter if I left, $500 extra on the table. Yeah, you know,
Gotcha.
I'd rather take money off the table than worry about the hypothetical money I left on the table.
Gotcha,
because
gotcha.
if I worry too much about what I didn't get, I'll end up not getting
Anything.
and,
Gotcha.
anything at all, right? So take what you can. If you feel like, hey, this is, you know, I haven't had many offers, why not? Let's get rid of it. Use that profit, buy a couple more names, and do it again instead of,
Right.
you know, I don't get really clingy with anything. It's just a commodity. I'm here to make money. I'm saving up for a huge house on the beach. If I can
Gotcha.
sell this, sell it. Buy another one, do it again.
So you don't love them?
Oh, I love them. They make me a ton of money, but I don't love them enough to not let them go. Everything in my life I'm willing to let go, and that includes domain. Can't attach to anything.
So you love them, but you're not in love with them. That's what you're
absolutely.
saying.
Yeah. I mean, even if I am, you know, with anything, if you're in love with it, if you truly want it to shine, you gotta let it go. Let it go.
Gotcha. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think we might have had another question here from Noor. Let me see if Noor is still with us. No, I don't think Noor is still with us. So I'll just read the question and you can answer. Nora wanted to know, they said, webretrieval.com is listed on Flippa right now. Do you recommend I put it in the premium listing?
I always recommend the premium listing, but here's the thing. If the domain is freshly registered, like web retrieval is, a premium listing is not going to help you sell it. What you need with this one is you need an end user. I mean, the domain was registered 17 days ago. It doesn't mean it doesn't have value, and it doesn't mean it won't sell. But selling it on an auction platform, a brand new domain, you're going to have a hard time getting rid of that. That's a big thing people look at is age. If a domain has age, it has, you know, weighs a little bit more with, you know, Google and other search engines and so on. And the older a domain is, the less gimmicky it is. Web retrieval is a good domain. I wouldn't auction it. I mean, I work at Flippa, and I'm telling you not to auction it because you're not going to get anything for it. You're going to throw your money away. Sit on that and start doing outbound. Get on zoominfo.com and find those backup companies, those retrieval specialists. Those are your end users. They don't know it's 17 years old or 17 days old. They don't know anything about it. But they might fall in love with it and be willing to give you $5,000. Where if you put it on Flippa with an ultra premium, you know, you might sell it for $300 and find yourself, you know, out of money. If you're going to bring it to auction, there's certain names you can bring, and this one is listed in the catalog. And I'll put it in the domain catalog and start reaching out to end users and then guide them to your catalog, because if they go there, they might see something else you got too, but I wouldn't auction it.
Now, Nora also wants to know if you use SpyFu.
I've heard of it. I don't really use it in my process. Let me pull up right now. I've never used it to make a sale. Let's just put it that way. Every now and then I'll use it, but my bread and butter is zoominfo.com. I make a ton of sales from that. You know, reaching out to directly to the decision maker, and if they ask me for these kind of statistics and stuff, then I'll go use a tool and provide that for them. But more often than not, search volume, CPC, and age are you know, what sell the domains to.
Okay, so I have another question here from Adrian. Do you use a specific template for emails that you send out to decision makers?
I don't use a template. I get template emails all day, and they're like 30 paragraphs long, and I'll close them. I don't even want to know what you have to say. I always start every single email. I make it personal. I talk about their company. I keep it very short, 2 sentences, 3 sentences max. First sentence, I talk about their company. Second sentence, I tell them that this domain is on the market. And third sentence, I tell them, you know, let me know if you're interested. I'll be happy to help you acquire the name. And you know, short, simple, and straight to the point. Also acknowledging that it's a personal email and not just some template email. You know, do some research on the company. Find out, you know, Like this one company I reached out to for domain on brokering, they did a lot of work with breast cancer fundraising, and my mom had breast cancer, so I mentioned that. I was like, you know, it's really nice to see a company fundraising for breast cancer. You know, I'm very familiar with it, and I appreciate that. I just want to let you know that I brought this domain to market, and if your company is interested in the acquisition, let me know. I'd be happy to help. And I send that off. 9 times out of 10, they'll respond, and if they don't, the week after I follow up, and they'll respond. And it helps make a lot of sales. You know, people want to know that this is personal. This isn't just some robot sending them a sales letter. It's like cold calling, but yeah, you know, be their friend. Be nice to them. You know, just don't be pushy. Don't just be, you know, just a regular old person that's reaching out and letting them know that this is for sale.
Okay, so I think I see a question from Dan. Dan, are you still here? Would you like to ask Ollie a question?
Hey, sorry, I just had to unmute myself there. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you well. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, I just had a question. I've been following Flippa, and I have a few domains on there right now. Now, is there anything that's, obviously .coms will be the more prevalent, but have you seen much movement in the new GTLDs or country codes? As I was saying, I'm from Canada, so I deal heavily in .cas, but...
Country codes tend to do a lot better than GTLDs do, especially country code hacks. I absolutely love country code hacks, especially for SEO purposes. You know, like the domain I'm selling right now, airfare.to. When I saw that name, I was all about it. I didn't care how much it cost. I had to have it. And you know, if you look at the search volume on that, it's crazy what hack you can do with hacks and with the research. Like .ca, if you register a couple of hacks and you have a lot of .ca domains, like Adam Dicker, he sells .ca domains all the time. He lives in Canada, so you know, if you live in the States, worldwide.com obviously, but if you're focusing on Canada, absolutely .ca domains have value. If you're focusing on, you know, Libya.ly domains have a lot of value out there. So yes, the country code ones, they do wonderful, as long as they're not gimmicky. You know, the more premium ones, they do great. GTLDs, it runs the whole spectrum, man. It's got to be a hell of a GTLD for it to sell at auction for like crazy prices. You know, like real.estate, monster GTLD, you know, coffee.club, monster. Stuff like that does well. You know, random GTLDs, not so much. Those are long-term hold brandables, and it's really not worth the $70 a year to sit on it for 10 years to get a $5,000 offer or something. So, yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, I think there might have been a question from Shane. Let's see. Shane, are you still there? You want to ask Ollie a question?
Yeah, sure. So what's your favorite domain you're selling at the moment?
The one I'm selling or one you're selling? I like tablets.org, the one you're selling. One I'm selling, my favorite, oh man, I have quite a few. Tulip.com. I absolutely love that domain. I think it's one of the most brandable domains I've ever heard in my life. Hologram.com, that's, we're working on a pretty big deal with that one. What else do I have? Goliath.com, novelties.com, samurai.com. That one, I love that one.
Oh, I like Samurai.
Yeah, samurai.com would be cool name. But yeah, those are, I mean, they're all my favorite, you know, all the big one-word.coms are short, sweet, huge search, aged. I absolutely love them all, so, yeah.
Okay. Speaking of that, I did put on here, Ollie, some of your current Flippa auctions that I saw. You want to tell us anything about any of those before we wrap up?
Postpone.com just sold today.
Which one was that?
Postpone.com.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah, that one's gone.
That one is gone.
Airfare.to is the one I'm selling personally myself, and then Tulip.com. That one, long-term hold, that's $250,000 name, major software company, something, even a dating app, long-term hold. I might even buy it myself. We'll see. Postpone.com, that's sold. Goliath.com, it's having a conversation with someone in our industry about Goliath.com, and he was comparing it to Amazon.com. He's like, which one's bigger? And I was like, well, everyone in the Amazon is afraid of Goliath, so you know, Goliath.com, that can turn into any kind of business you want to turn it to. Sell.org. I mean, if you read the description on that in the Flippa listing, you really get to see why it's such a valuable name. Consoles.com. Adrian, buy Consoles.com, add it to Gamers Network, and you know, sell every single console there is out there on the consoles, like Xbox, Wii, PlayStation. I mean, even though Nintendo was Atari's, I mean, these are done. Yeah, I mean, it's a monster domain. That's an e-commerce dream domain right there.
Yeah, that's a great pairing too.
Upselling TV, game monitors, controllers, DVDs, games. I mean, yeah, I mean, all of these are great names. I'm very happy. Do you recommend building a portfolio catalog of your domains and marketing that? Do you mean like marketing the whole portfolio at once to one person?
Let me go ahead and unmute him so he can respond to that. Adrian? Hello? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. So no, not to just a single person, but just basically, you know, doing like backlinking. So you put some domains out in the marketplace. For instance, I have on Angela's wall hirezoo.com, you know, and then that's linking back to my portfolio or catalog, whatever. But so not to a specific one person, your whole entire portfolio. Basically, just you know, putting some domains out in multiple different areas, forums, whatnot, or even marketing, you know, on Flippa, and then pointing back to your money site.
Oh, absolutely. Having a mothership is very, very crucial. You know, with all of my listings on Flippa, you see at the bottom, I always say, take a look at our other listings here. I have a link, and you go directly to all my. I mean, if you have a huge portfolio, every link should take you back. You know, if you can develop a website that when they click the domain, it goes to the landing page for that domain, and then somewhere else on the other on the page, it shows all of your other names, a link to all of the other page that shows all of your other names. Because I send a domain to someone, like, yeah, that's not really what I'm looking for, and I'll be like, well, what are you looking for? He's like, send me a list. You know, that's that conversation goes that way every single time. So if you have a mothership design, that's the best thing you can possibly do.
Gotcha. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Well, I think that we have come to the end of our chat. It's been great, Ali, having you. Thank you so much for taking the time to come out and chat with us today and also look at our list of names. I hope that you will consider coming back to join us again soon.
Absolutely, yeah. Anything for my ego. You know?
I like to get that commitment on the recording so that I can play it back later.
You told me you'd come back.
Yeah, so thank you so much for coming out. For everyone who's here and everyone who's listening, the chat is converted to audio and posted later on the BrandBar wall and the event wall. If you have any questions for me, I do stick around for a little bit. And Ali, is there an email or something that you want to leave in the chat window for anyone who might have a question for you?
We're actually launching a deal for brokerage at Flippa. And basically what you can do, you can go to this link and you can put in your email address and name and email address. And every week we email out a list of our most premium domain names. And if you want to get in touch with me personally, I will give you my email here. Feel free to email me anytime. I mean, I have like 200-300 emails a day, and I try to get back to all of them on top of a million other things I'm doing. So be patient if I haven't gotten back to you yet. And yeah, I mean, I look forward to coming back on the show, and I appreciate everyone who sat here and listened to me blab for an hour.
You're too much. Okay, well, that's the end of our chat for today, and I hope to see you all back in 2 weeks. We'll be discussing some of the legal aspects of domaining. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
All right, take care, guys.